What is value? Well, in IDLE 4, value is the perceived benefits, usefulness, and importance of something. Now, I know this is very generic, but let's dig into this short definition and explore it a bit, because value is an extremely important concept inside of IDLE and service management in general. First, notice in the definition that value is perceived. This means that the amount of value something has is always subjective. Who gets to determine this perceived amount of value? Well, the privilege is reserved for the recipient of the value. So let me give you an example to help clarify it. There's two roommates, Julia and John. One afternoon, they both decide they want to go get an orange. They walk over to the refrigerator to each get themselves an orange and find that there's only one left in the fruit drawer. They begin to fight with each other because each person really wants that orange for themselves. Julia says she values the orange more and she should have it. But John quickly retorts that he values the orange more and that he should have it. Neither person explains to the other why they want the orange, and instead they don't tell them about the value they perceive that it has. But being omniscient as the narrator in this example, I know exactly what each of them wants to do with that orange. Julia's hungry, and she desired to have a sweet and healthy afternoon snack. So if she gets the orange, she plans to cut it apart, eat the sweet, juicy flesh inside of it, and throw away the peel. Now in her perceived value of this orange, the inside of the orange holds 100% of the value, and the peel is garbage. It's worthless. John, on the other hand, he's a baker, and this afternoon he wanted to make some orange cupcakes. So he needed the orange peel to be able to zest it into the batter. If he gets the orange, he intends to simply use the peel and throw away the orange's sweet inside into the trash. Unlike Julia, who places 100% of the orange's value on its ability to be eaten as an afternoon snack, John believes that that part of the orange is completely worthless. Instead, he places 100% of the value into the orange peel. Now, I'm sure you can see the interesting thing here about value. This one orange could serve 100% of the needs for each person involved in this transaction, if only they could communicate their true desires for that orange. They could both have 100% of the value because the value is perceived by the end recipient, and in this case, our two roommates each view it differently. Now, to the grocer who is the original supplier of this orange, he sold that orange for $1. Had he known that they both valued that $1 orange for different reasons, maybe he would have cut the orange apart, separated the insides away from the peel, and sold each portion for $1 each. And if he had done that to each of the roommates, he would have doubled the orange's value for himself. Now, I know that sounds a little crazy, but I bet on exam day, you're going to remember about this orange and value. You're going to remember that the amount of value that something has is based on the recipient's perception of that value, right? It's the recipient that actually is expected to get the value from the products, from those relationships, from the services, from whatever it is that we're expecting to deliver or to facilitate the value for them. Because of this, value is always considered subjective, and it can be quite different from what the original supplier planned for. It may be different from what they had described the product as or what service it was going to fulfill, and from what we originally agreed to. This subjectivity should be captured, measured, and evaluated because this is what we have to work with as an organization that performs service management. Now, let's get back to our definition of value once more. Value is the perceived benefits, usefulness, and importance of something. As I said before, this definition is a bit generic, right? This is because it uses this vague term of something. This word was specifically chosen by the creators of ITIL because service management goes beyond just services these days. Because the perceived benefits and usefulness of something really do depend on the context that it's being talked about. In each given context, we know what that something is, and we know what it means in the value definition. But in a generic definition like this, we can't simply list all of the things something could be, so something becomes that placeholder. Because when we talk about value, value is really based on these relationships as well, and we're going to discuss those service relationships in a future lesson.